Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Zay News Live, and welcome to this English news edition. Coming up next, a special weather bulletin released by Meteorological Services warned of weather turbulences in the north of the country. Plus, given the success of the past 7 editions of the Car-Free Day, National Radio and the province of Algiers renewed the event today, Friday. And later on in our news program, Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has told the EU it will not change its anti-terror laws in return for visa-free travel. Hello there again, and thanks for joining us. First, in our top stories, with a confident tone and under the cheers of his party members, the newly elected R&D Party Secretary General Ahmed Ouyahia addressed several messages during his party's extraordinary Congress, notably to the opposition and pro-government parties, reiterating his and his party's utmost support for President Bouteflika. Lamia Ashush.
Under the cheers and applause of R&D members, Ahmed Ouyahia, the newly elected R&D Secretary General, used his party's extraordinary Congress to address the Algerian political players to reiterate his party's support to President Bouteflika in an implicit message to the FLN Secretary General Ammar Saadani. The latter questioned Ouyahya's loyalty to the president because of his absence from the FLN-sponsored National Wall Initiative. Ahmed Ouyahia also expressed his unconditional support to Prime Minister Abdelmalek Sellal, which sparked enthusiastic cheers from the audience.
It is my conviction that the National Democratic Rally will keep supporting President Abdelaziz Bouteflika and the government of our country, of which the National Democratic Rally takes part.
On the contrary to his FLN rival, Ouyahia did not attack the opposition. He instead saluted it and expressed his respect for it and his willingness to work alongside it, denouncing political popular discourses.
My hope is that our political family stays away from populism and demagogy. We also hope that the National Democratic Rally works harder with opposition parties, which we respect and salute.
Building stronger ties and broader consultations with pro-government parties to benefit Algeria is yet another message Ouyahia sent to parties that back President Bouteflika, led by the National Liberation Front.
My hope is that our political family will build stronger ties with the rest of majority parties for broader consultations.
In the external front, Ouyahia warned against some parties conspiring schemes with foreign sides in order to strike a blow to the country's unity and security.
Attempts of infringing national unity is manifested more and more through a local splinter group whose external connections have just been confirmed by the criminal Bernard-Henri Lévy, who caused the destruction of a neighboring brotherly country.
Ouyahia had a confident and straightforward tone, sending several messages to his rivals. Most importantly, that he is and will always be pro-President Bouteflika as he leads the R&D party for a new term.
A special weather bulletin released by Meteorological Services warned of weather turbulences in the north of the country. Heavy rain will be recorded starting from Friday afternoon to tomorrow morning. Furthermore, the concerned national provinces are Ain Daflam, Dia, Blida, Tipaza, Algiers, Boumerdès, Bouira, Tizi Ouzzoum, Sila, Borj Arij, Bijaya and Sétif. The weather bulletin pointed out that the amount of rainfall may reach up to 50 millimeters locally and predicted strong winds and thunders. Given the success of the past 7 editions of the Car Free Day, National Radio and the province of Algiers renewed this event today, Friday, from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. The goals of these events are to protect the environment with less gas emission, encourage the public to walk and rediscover the beauty of the city. Hence Minaras.
The capital, Algiers, is rarely seen without the usual smothering traffic, but today was different. For it was the car-free day where citizens could feel as if they owned the streets. Streets free from vehicles, horns, and the polluting smoke of engines. Today, our kids were free to walk the streets without any fear, not only for them, but for us as well.
The atmosphere is so different than that witnessed all year long. It's exceptional. No cars, and we can feel the fresh breeze of air.
In order to preserve the environment from pollution, the mayor of Central Algiers, in cooperation with the National Security Directorate, was keen on organizing this awareness day.
This initiative aims to protect the environment and preserve citizens' health. I thank everyone who collaborated in this initiative, namely the sports scene and the civil society, for the smooth running of the event.
Algiers Governor Abdelkader Zouk, him too, urged citizens on the need to maintain the beauty of the city through this event.
This is a perfect occasion to sensitize citizens about the preservation of environment. We're in need of a clean environment, and this is the responsibility of everyone, citizens included.
So it's an annual event in which the capital streets rest, and even for a day, away from the fuss witnessed for a whole year, much to the appreciation of Algiers citizens.
And in its first edition, Women Marathon called L'Algieroise was held today, Friday, in the capital, Algiers, in which women from different age categories took part. The aim of this initiative is to involve women in sports activities and encourage them to be more active. Hence Minaras again.
And what was so special about the first edition of L'Algieroise half marathon? It was an all-women marathon, of course. Women were widely present and in full force, whether to showcase their fitness or to keep up a good health. All the reasons were right for this Algiers marathon.
I really like it. During the marathon, women kept helping each other. My goal was to finish the run, and I think I'm amongst the first 50. The marathon was really well organized, and women from all ages participated. I won the first place, and I'm thrilled about it.
Lella Fatma, a 79-year-old woman, wasn't going to miss the marathon for the world, joining fellow young women on a day devoted to the cleanliness of the environment.
I love running and wanted to do some sports with the girls.
Women and girls gave up hills to take part in the 8th edition of Capital Without Cars, aspiring to consolidate the culture of sports in their daily lives, just like the world champion athlete and this marathon's ambassador, Nouria Benida Marrah, that took part in the marathon in encouragement for younger girls out there.
It's really encouraging for women to practice sports. We all know there are less and less women in the sports scene. Through this event, we aim to encourage most women.
A demonstration that surely made headlines in the capital, Algiers, attempting to cast out lack of awareness in the womenly sports scene, boosting women across the country to give the best of themselves and put them under spotlight.
In other national news, poultry breeding has seen a great success in Algeria, especially in the recent years. Many investors have turned to this kind of money-making projects, which can easily contribute in the diversification and the boosting of national economy. However, this sector's cornerstone is chickens production, which can be rate tricky and mined with obstacles. Karim Fazakri.
Poultry breeding is based on the availability of chicks, which are considered the cornerstone of this business success. Hajuri family chose chicks production 20 years ago. During this long period, this family knew all the ins and outs of such business. In fact, they acquired great know-how and developed effective strategies to face all the obstacles in this industry. Today, they have become the main supplier for several breeders. The chick you see here is from Arboacras breed. This kind of chick is known to grow quickly. This is highly demanded by breeders. The second breed we produce is what is known by farmers as F15, special barn chicken. The latter is available, but it's not fast growing but rather medium. When the chickens lay the eggs, we collect that of 7 days old. We put them in the hatchery for 18 days and then we move them to the hatcher where we leave them for 4 days. Despite their long experience and their success in chicks production, Hajuri family are still facing many problems such as marketing, which is due to the irregularity of the market and the abundance of parasitic breeders. We have a big marketing issue. There is no stability in the market. The prices keep going up and down. Based on our long experience, we have managed to gain the trust of many breeders who became our faithful clients. This is really what made us successful. We asked the breeders to cooperate with us and become more organized by implementing a well-defined and organized schedule yearly. However, parasitic breeders still exist. They are the reason we couldn't make precise statistics. We are really hopeful that organization is implemented in the market. All this will be for our benefit and the consumers as well. Family businesses such as Hajuti's are considered positive projects. Their success can be indeed very motivating for other families to invest in various sectors which can boost the national economy.
And now it's time for me to be joined by Mustafa Azzouk, who has prepared for us the most important national and international highlights of this week. What do you have for us, Mustafa?
Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to your weekly segment, World in a Week, where we take you through this week's top and trending stories. We start with national news. The proceedings of the Extraordinary Congress of the National Democratic Rally R&D Party wrapped up on Thursday in Algiers. The event was attended by 1,600 delegates, including many government ministers, notably Abdelmalek Salal, to vote for a new Secretary General. The overwhelming majority voted in favor of Ahmed Ouyahia against his main rival Belqasem Mellah. Mr. Ouyahia, shortly after the results were announced, gave a speech in which he reminded the delegates of the party's future plans. Moving on to another story now. Bir Murad Rais Administrative Court has postponed the hearing of the Al Khabar Media Group purchase trial until next Wednesday. The group was purchased by the Algerian businessman Isad Rabrab, but the government, through the Ministry of Communication, has deemed the transaction unlawful. To this effect, journalists and the staff of Al Khabar have organized a sit-in in front of the said court. They accused the government to try to push the media group to bankruptcy, considering the selling its shares to a Civital subsidiary was the only way out of a severe financial crisis. Moving on to another matter now. Mouloudia Club of Algiers won 1-0 against the other city-based club of Nasser Hussein Day in the Algeria Cup final at the 5th July Stadium. Right back, Abdurrahman Hashoud scored the winning goal in the 82nd minute with a powerful 40-meter shot. Prime Minister Abdelmalek Salal handed over the cup to MCA's captain Fawzi Shawshi. It is the 8th trophy for Mouloudia after winning it in 1971, 1973, 1976, 83, 2006, 2007 and 2014. It is worth mentioning that MCA will face rivals and League One champion USM Algiers in a thrilling Super Cup game in August later this year. Moving on to another story now. According to the Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, Aleppo, Syria's largest city and former commercial center, has been the scene of intense shelling and air raids that have killed almost 250 civilians over the past 9 days. The head of the main Syrian opposition coalition said the chance of a solution were fading unless the global community acted fast before the formal start of UN-backed peace talks on May 10th. A record of 60,000 Syrians are now stranded and waiting for refuge at the border of Jordan after fighting in Aleppo pushed thousands from their homes. In the last 3 days alone, some 5,000 more people have arrived at makeshift camps in the remote desert area after making the roughly 450 kilometers journey to escape the violence. Moving on to the United States of America now. Ted Cruz bowed out of the Republican presidential race Tuesday following a crushing loss to Donald Trump in Indiana, clearing the path for the real estate mogul to clinch the GOP nomination. It was a remarkable turn of events in a presidential primary race that seemed destined just weeks ago to end in a contested convention this summer. Even in the final hours of the race in the Hoosier state, Cruz insisted he was staying in the race until June 7th, going so far to attack his rival during a news conference as a pathological liar unfit for the White House. In the end, the growing strength of Donald Trump's candidacy and Cruz's own stumbles in the past 2 weeks were too much for Cruz to overcome. The Cruz, Kasich and anti-Trump forces had concocted elaborate plans to try to deprive Trump of the 1,237 delegates he needs to win the nomination outright. But those plans hinged on money and momentum. After Tuesday night, it appeared that Cruz would have neither. Moving on to another story. Leicester City have won the maiden English Premier League title in one of their biggest ever triumphs by an underdog in sports. The club claimed victory in the English football top flight after Chelsea drew with Tottenham Hotspurs 2-2 at Stamford Bridge on Monday. The draw left Spurs short on points in the competition ladder to make a challenge for the title, leaving the glory for Leicester as they claimed the crown for the first time in their 132-year history. Their previous best finish in the EPL was second in 1929. That was the end in World in a Week. Back to you, Nadia.
Thanks, Mustafa. And in other world developments, activists said that an airstrike on a camp for internally displaced Syrians near the country's border with Turkey has killed at least 30 people. According to the UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, the attack on the camp in Idlib province on Thursday also left dozens of others injured. A number of those killed were children. Israel's occupying military forces says its aircraft struck infrastructure in Gaza used by Hamas, which governs the presidential or the Palestinian enclave, in response to what it said was mortar fires at its forces along the border. It was the fourth air raid on Gaza since Wednesday, when direct clashes between Hamas and Israeli occupying forces broke out for the first time since a devastating 2014 war that killed at least 2,200, mostly Palestinians. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has told the EU it will not change its anti-terror laws in return for visa-free travel. The EU has asked Turkey to revise its laws as a condition for allowing Turkish citizens visa-free travel for short stays. The plan is part of a deal involving the return of migrants, mainly Syrians, from Greece to Turkey in order to ease Europe's migration crisis. Mr. Erdogan was speaking a day after Prime Minister Ahmed Davutoglu, who had largely negotiated the EU deal, said he was stepping down. Exhausted evacuees stranded north of the fire-ravaged Canadian oil town of the Fourth McMurray sped through the only road out today, Friday, escorted by police after the out-of-control blaze destroyed entire neighborhoods and forced 80,000 to flee. The fire enveloped Fort McMurray, burning some 85,000 hectares in the area, forcing mass evacuation on Tuesday and Wednesday and threatening to oil stand sites south of the city. And now it's time for us to have a reminder of our main top stories. A special weather bulletin released by meteorological services warned of weather turbulences in the north of the country. Given the success of the past 7 editions of the Car-Free Day, National Radio and the province of Algiers renewed the event today, Friday. Turkey's president has told the EU it will not change its anti-terror laws in return for visa-free travel. For me, Nadia Kasmi, and the rest of the team, for more news, visit our website and other social media networks. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.